Hi, this is Lisa Marie Graves, host of the 3rd Annual Women's Legacy Conference. The Women's Legacy Conference inspires, educates, and empowers women both personally and professionally. We have a title partner this year. It is Tara Stark Real Estate Group. And this interview is a little bit different than all the rest of the interviews that I've been doing because I have with me one of the legacy leaders for the Women's Conference this year. I have with me Dr. Marsha Barber. Say hi.
Hi.
Each year we identify two women that are in our community that have really made a difference. The first year that we did the conference, I had actually identified 2 women that had already passed away. And, I really felt like what they did, what they left behind was really a legacy. And as I talked to some more amazing women, I was like, you know what? We have some amazing women today that are living and setting an amazing example and living a legacy. And so I changed it from that point forward of finding really strong, amazing, powerful women that
We're still alive.
Yes. Yes, because I want to honor you today.
Thank you.
And so I always want to say Dr. Barber, Dr. Marsha Barber, she is, I'm actually going to have you just tell about what you do. I know you're retired now, but where you got your start in this community and, becoming a living legacy.
Oh, thank you. 25 years ago, we were going to Trinity Bible Church, and for several years they had talked about possibly starting a school someday. Would I be interested? I was teaching in public school at that time for the first 18 years of my career, and I thought, oh, that'd be great. That's probably never going to happen. But I got a phone call in the spring of 1993 from a friend who wanted to help start a school. Her family would subsidize the first year if I would come and just get the school started. Well, I had never been in a Christian school. I had never been in administration. I had no idea what I was doing, but after about a month of prayer, I decided, well, let's try this. And so we started with 10 students in 2 borrowed classrooms at Trinity Bible Church, and we were at the right time, at the right place, and God's timing was perfect. Alita was just starting to grow, and the church was growing so that when we exploded, we had 10 students the first year, 53 the next year.
Wow.
The church just happened to be adding on. The next year we had 93 students, and our original plan was to add 1 grade a year, but the growth was so fast we ended up adding 2 or 3 grades at a time until we got to 8th grade. Then we stopped and went back to the original plan because you can't just slap up a high school and say, this is a high school. So we went back to the 1 grade a year. And once we were through 12th grade and we had our first graduating class in 2001, we started doubling up from the bottom up. We had a second kindergarten, then a second first grade. So the students always had a place to stay. And, of course, now we're doubled up all the way. And a few years ago we built a secondary building because we had pre-K through 12th grade all in the same building for several years, and we had a lot of portables. I think we had 12 classrooms and portables. So we were able to raise enough money and service the debt to build the secondary building. We actually were a little bit short on finishing the gym, and we thought, well, we can drive that in. That's not important to the education process. We had 1 gym already. And we moved in September, and about 2 weeks later, a couple walked into my office that didn't really have much of a connection to the school and handed me a check for $1 million. And that was exactly what we needed to finish the gym.
Wow.
And so the contractors actually were still on site, so they just kept working. And by the end of that first year in the new building, the gym was finished.
And what year was that?
That was maybe 2008.
That it was finished?
Yes,
When
the
did
secondary building.
So when did they
gym.
do the gym? Because I was actually here when they, I moved here in 2009, and I was here when they did some sort of, I'll say celebration or grand opening or something with the gym.
Well, maybe it was then 2009 that it finished.
And it's named after her too.
That was really a surprise. I'm usually never surprised at anything. I'm always suspicious of everything. And they totally surprised us. They named it my husband and myself because they recognized his contribution over the years too.
Yeah.
And the only 3 things I could think of to say were, I can't believe you did this, I can't believe you kept it quiet, and I can't believe I'm not dead yet. And I did realize then it is a shame to wait until someone has passed away to honor them in some way, especially the naming of a building, because it was just, we were just
what an
speechless.
Honor. So why do you think they chose you in the beginning?
To run the school? Well, they knew this church was very small at the time, and they knew I was a teacher.
Okay.
And that's really about it. We'd been going to the church for a while, probably 10 years, and but we did it to give people in public school another option and homeschoolers another option.
Okay.
About half our students that first year were homeschool kids, and just for various reasons weren't successful in their setting, and so it started out that way. But it just.
Well, I wouldn't think that some of the tools were as available for homeschool students as there are now.
Right. There was. And I really was not familiar with Christian curriculum. I just had to lay it out beside my public school curriculum and see, how it compared. And I realized that it was considerably more challenging, and that and I had only taught primary grades. So we only had first through fourth.
Primary is?
I had taught kindergarten, first and second. And the first year we only had first through fourth grades. So I knew what I was doing there as far as at least picking out the curriculum. As we got bigger, I was doing everything, and at some point I was doing everything and doing nothing well, and so we were able to add a secondary principal, and then that was Mr. Skaggs.
Yes, and that's what I was actually going to ask, is how did your role change as the Trinity Christian Academy grew? How did your role change?
Once we hired Mr. Skaggs, and I worked with him well and knew we were so on the same page with everything, we finished each other's sentences. And and I knew that was his specialty, secondary, and it was not mine. So I oversaw, and he always was very good about coming to me with the ideas, but I pretty much let him make those decisions because I knew that was his field of specialization, not mine, and vice versa. So when I started thinking about retiring and phasing out, I had this infamous 5-year chart, which really turned into about 7 years, and I would put my duties, a few more on his every year, and a few more on the curriculum director, and then we eventually had an elementary principal, and so that I phased out. One of the first things I gave him was he gets to call snow days, because I thought that would really be fun. It was not. It was a nightmare. So I handed over duties just slowly over the years.
With that, with the
and in Texas, unless you see it coming down at 3 a.m., don't even try to call it because it may not happen.
Wow. I had another question on the tip of my tongue. So I had met you probably around 2010, I'm guessing. We were on a committee together, and that was, hey, Rachel. We were on the Women's Business Alliance. It was a brand new organization with the East Parker County Chamber, or not organization, just committee, women's networking.
Right.
And you were one of the founding members of that organization or that group. And what I remember about you and that group was it was very important for you to emphasize giving back. And so it was we would find ways in local organizations that we could simply give back something small individually that made a very large impact overall. And then I know you had retired and switched the chair to Susie, who is one of my best friends, Susie Henning.
Mine too. Yeah.
And I know you mentored her and helped her along the way, and I can only imagine the women. I'll say women specifically, but I know you mentored all. What would you say is maybe one of your favorite memories from the last 20 plus years at TCA?
Not related to the women's business.
No, just in general.
Oh my goodness! One of the funniest things that ever happened, and is a sweet memory now. On April Fool's one year, this is when we had the property to build the secondary building, but we hadn't built it yet. So I was gone off working on a test for a class in my doctorate, and I was so upset. It was a PE class. I almost dropped out of school over this PE class because I had stuff in the book, and then the test came and it wasn't stuff from the book, and I was panicking.
Gee, go figure.
So anyway, I came back to school, and Sarah King and 2 or 3 other girls had taken my chair away from my desk, and they had found an old toilet out in the woods, and they put flowers in it and put it there behind my desk instead of my chair. So here I came in all stressed out, and I could do nothing but laugh. but it's fun to think back on things that they did, and of course the check that for the gym was probably the most momentous.
That's crazy.
People have asked me, "What did you say?" And I don't know. I know I kind of went like this, and I mean, what do you say?
I could
There
just
was nothing to
imagine
say,
it just went over your whole entire
I think
body.
Probably
Wow.
a $50,000 gift was the biggest gift we'd ever gotten, and we thought that was $1 million.
Yeah.
So for someone to come in like that, and then they continued to donors. Have always wished to remain anonymous, but they continue to support the school.
Wow.
After that, the scholarship fund and just some other.
So you started with 10, and how many students are there today?
There's about 525.
Nice. And that's K
Pre-K,
or pre-K? That's what I was thinking.
Through 12th grade,
Wow.
right? We were a college prep school, and that was always important to me. When I moved in high school and started a new school in Houston in 10th grade, when I walked in, the counselor didn't say, "Honey, are you thinking about going to college?" He said, "Where are you thinking about going to college?" And my parents had not gone. They wouldn't have known how to get me in college. And so the school walked me through it from the first day I came in 10th grade. And I thought that was the norm until my kids got in school, public school. And there was a counselor for every grade, but they didn't walk them through it at all.
They're kind of on their own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so from the beginning, when we started having high school kids, that was one of my desires, to have a college advisor on staff from the beginning that could help with scholarship. There's so much scholarship money that goes to waste, and help these kids get in a college that's right for them or get accepted at a lot of places where they have their choice. And so we've been really successful at that. Wow. And that means a lot to me. We've sent kids, we sent a lot to A&M, Dallas Baptist, we've sent them to West Point, Alabama, Clemson, a wide variety of places, a few at TCU. And so that makes me happy that the end result is the ultimate.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that we're creating kids that can defend their faith and stand firm, because a lot of kids drop away. We didn't go to church like we should have when we were in college, and most people do kind of drop away, but at least they can defend their faith.
That's important.
Hopefully stand on their own 2 feet. Not that every single graduate, has always done the perfect thing, but
right,
at least
because we're humans.
They're able to, yeah. So
wow. That's good. Oh, well, she's amazing. I'm in awe still, because a lot of this I'm hearing for the first time, some of your story. I recently attended, you guys had a huge, awesome, fantastic fundraiser celebrating 25 years for TCA, and it was called the Legacy Dinner, wasn't it? I know it had legacy in there.
I think their hashtag now is Be the Legacy. Yeah. So. Not my idea, but that's a great idea. When we first started the fundraising for the secondary building, we started using Legacy. And each year there's some little play on that. So,
I love that. Yeah. I don't know if it's just because my company name is after Legacy as well, but it's becoming a much more, I feel, powerful word. And it's not about the after, but the now.
And people don't realize what legacy they're leaving. People are watching you. They're wanting to see what you say, what you do. And you have to be aware that you are leaving a legacy, whether you know it or not, and whether it's a good one or not.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, let's transition to the Women's Conference. Marsha was a guest last year, and what did you think of it, and what are you hoping to get from it this year?
Well, I was so excited to be invited and to be able to come that day, and I don't know if you know this, but just a few days before that, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and I really wasn't even at the point that I was telling anybody, so it was good to see women that were successful and women that were at different places on their route to the end result in their life, and be able to talk about struggles, be able to talk about successes, and the best guides are other women in the same position. When I was working on my doctorate, as I said, I didn't have any background in Christian school, and I learned as much from the other administrators in the class as I did from the professor. In fact, I had 2 sections of notes, one for the class and one for all the things I heard from administrators. So I never thought of that, because I really had no idea what I was doing. God can use anybody, because I really didn't know. People would ask me over the years, how do you pay the bills with just tuition? Because most schools have they have capital campaigns, but an annual fund where parents are asked to give beyond their tuition, and we never did that. We were always wanted to be a middle class school that was available to a wide range of people, and I guess my dad was a good businessman, and I guess I learned from him, don't spend money you don't have. To me, that's just real simple.
Yeah.
But so our tuition always covered our expenses, and I realized around the Metroplex that was the exception, because people would call and ask me, how do you do that? And so I thought, well,
manage your budget.
Yeah, I know, don't spend money you don't have. And so out of naivety or whatever, that's the way we ran the show. So we've never been, I mean, we have debt that we can service for the building, but we've never been in debt or not made, the budget or been in the red.
Yeah,
so,
that's nice.
Yeah.
So you're not digging out.
Oh yeah, I've seen that happen. It's hard to understand, but
wow. Well, what are you hoping to get out of the conference this year?
Well, like I said, I think it's so good for women to interact with other women at different stages, whether you're just beginning, you're a young mom trying to work, or you're a single person starting your career, and then some that are halfway through. I don't think you realize the plan God's putting together for you. I see my life and everyone's life as a puzzle, and He's putting the pieces together, but you don't see what that end result's going to be. So it's good to see that you're not alone if you're struggling with this or that. Someone in that room is going to be doing the same thing and having the same management or juggling. Women juggle, that's just the way they are. They have two jobs, they run the home and schedules and all, and then they may have a job outside the home, and so you come home and go to your second job. So, there's always ways women can help each other. This worked for me or whatever. And then maybe some that are towards the end that can say, here's the puzzle that I had. And I never dreamed I would start a Christian school. It was never part. When I was in junior high, I was in Future Teachers of America. I always wanted to be a teacher, but I never dreamed that. There weren't even Christian schools back then. And even when my kids went to school, there weren't Christian schools. So that was never a thought at all. And so I just jumped off into the pool, and it happened to work. Right? Not because I was so smart, but...
Well, and I love what you say. I mean, there are a lot of mentorship opportunities in the room. We're really trying to change things up a little bit to invite our younger women to come, because they're our future, and our younger ladies, you have so much more. I feel that you're juggling in holding it all together. And seek out somebody that's going to be at the conference. Seek out somebody that I watch, just as you're saying. I mean, people are watching all the time, and I would watch you, and like I said, what stuck with me first was, we have to give back to the community. It's important to give back to your community. And so I just really watched you in the ways that you stood your ground very politely, but I mean, you got things done still. And that, even though it might be fairly simple, it was impactful to me.
I had no idea that you were even watching.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
I was not an assertive person at all. I know some people would say, "Oh, yeah, right," but that was just another thing that just happened. The man I married made me be more assertive, and or I would have been probably the barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen if I'd married someone else.
Yeah.
But he insisted that I was going to call the phone company and get the phone, or I couldn't do anything. My mother was I'll do it. Let me do it. You might not do it right.
Oh.
So I was not an assertive person at all. So people who've known me the last half of my life would find that hard to believe, but earlier ones would go, "Wow, can you believe she's..." But
you were always so friendly and kind. I mean, really, and not being pushy, and sometimes, abrasive personalities can be a little bit more, I guess, forefront, which is fine. But it's good to see other people have success in different ways of accomplishing it. And so to me, again, you had a manner of success about you and things that I can add to my toolbox as well. So
I'm glad.
The gentler, nicer, kind, sweet.
There might be some people that would disagree.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to add? Maybe to some of the ladies that might be considering to join us?
Well, I think your idea of a mentoring program is really important. Older women, younger women, just experiences. Why would we not share the difficulties we had and help them avoid some possibly, or don't take 5 years to learn something when I someone could tell you, I tried this and it worked much better with my kids or whatever. Don't hide your light under a bushel.
I like that.
Share, what you have, or seek for someone that's, even if she's not in your field, but she's had experiences, and younger people, I'm sure, have experiences that could have helped me.
Absolutely.
So
it's important that we keep our open mind to our younger generations as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes, and so our second legacy leader is Claire Ganifke, and she's 25.
Oh, good.
Very well established in her own rights, and so again, another way to show people that there are some amazing young businesswomen out there. And so I kind of got a joke on this a little bit. So when you're saying share your knowledge, you might want to make sure that people want to receive your knowledge.
Oh, that's a great point, because sometimes people are struggling because of their own, they're not wanting to find a solution. And so, it's very important not to, you should do this. That's not the way you should approach helping somebody.
Even if you have that heart, your heart's in the right spot. I mean, it
may not be the right time to, you're exactly right.
Yeah, I don't usually find out about that till after the fact. But it's something
you tried, that's really what's
important. And it's good to keep it in mind for future. So it's like, okay, learn from your past.
Right. Just like our kids, all the preaching in the world's not going to teach them, but they have to pay those consequences once, and there's their lesson.
Absolutely. Okay, was there anything else you'd like to add?
I don't believe so. I really appreciate you giving me this opportunity. I'm just so honored. I would have never dreamed.
Well, it's something small, but
it's
just a simple way to highlight and honor you.
Thank you. I appreciate
what you made a difference in the community. I mean, going from 10 students to
525,
25 years later, amazing. I mean, you had a huge impact on our community.
Thank you.
So thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, well, you can meet Dr. Marsha Barber at the Women's Legacy Conference. It is this Saturday, May 5th. Today is the last day that you can register. So don't wait. Go out to the website, www.womenslegacyconference.com. The conference is at Fish Creek. No. Oak Ridge Church of Christ next to Fish Creek, 9 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Breakfast and lunch is served, so yummy food and some amazing women, great topics to fill you up, and come and see what it's all about. The magic's going to happen in the room. So thanks so much for watching. All kudos to Marsha, and love her. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
And thanks for watching. We'll see y'all later. Bye.